Hey my beautiful souls, it's your girl Tina Marie J. Welcome to this new series. I want to just share a little bit of my personal experience and my story of the friendship that I had with a woman who I believe was a narcissist, and exactly how it affected me as someone who was pretty much fresh out of the ICOC when I met her. So before I go into my own little story of narcissism, let's just talk a little bit about what narcissism is. NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD, is a personality disorder characterized by a long-term pattern of exaggerated feelings of self-importance, an excessive need for admiration, and a lack of empathy toward other people. People with NPD often spend much time thinking about achieving power and success or on their appearance. Typically, they also take advantage of the people around them. Such narcissistic behavior typically begins by early adulthood and occurs across a broad range of situations. Now, here are the signs of a narcissistic person. Bullies, they demean, they manipulate, need constant praise and admiration, gaslights to make you doubt yourself, thoughts, and feelings, arrogant, must always be right, critical, a scoffer, mood swing, unpredictable rages, can't admit to mistakes, lacks sympathy, empathy for those they hurt, blame everyone else for fights and disagreements that they provoke, will lie, distort facts to suit their agenda, and a tendency to blame a lack of success and failures on others. I'm going to talk more about narcissism and gaslighting in the next videos for this series, but for this one I really want to focus more on friendship, since that's kind of the topic we're still on, is on friendship and rebuilding or building friendship social networks after you leave a cult. After I left ICOC, I started this job and I started working with this woman who I ended up becoming pretty close with. Me and her kind of became pretty much like best friends. We hung out all the time. We was always just chilling or whatever together, and like I really vibed well with her because she was actually my first close friend outside of the church. I didn't have that with anyone until after I left, because any other friendships I had kind of died down while I was in the church. So this specific woman, she wasn't really someone that I would have been friends with if I was in the church. Like, she was someone that the church would probably like try to make me get rebaptized over. Seriously, she wasn't someone I would have been friends with if I was still in the church. But when I came out of the church, I kind of went through this phase where I didn't know who I was, and I was kind of trying to learn more of myself and who I was and what I wanted and things like that. You know, the things I talk about on this channel. So becoming friends with her, she was already a pretty toxic person because she did show the signs of narcissism. All the signs that I read off, she showed. And at the time, I didn't know it. All I knew was that she had a certain kind of personality type that I didn't really like. But it was funny because like I admired her personality in a sense, but at the same time I didn't. Like, I didn't like the meanness that she came with, but I did like the realness that she came with. I liked that she wasn't afraid to be open and forthcoming and honest. And I think I kind of learned a little bit off of that. I didn't like the way that she was mean to other people. Everything was always about her. It was like she didn't care. If it wasn't about her, then she didn't care about it. If she wanted to go somewhere, everyone has to want to go too. If you don't want to go, oh well, I'm going anyway. I don't care what you're doing. She just had this personality, this mindset where everything was about her. You could see it in her energy. She'd walk into a room, a crowded room, and she just had this aura with her all the time. It was more than confidence. It was a certain arrogance that she held about herself. Before I met her, apparently, from what she told me, she was a different person. She had lost a lot of weight. She had like gastric bypass or whatever. And so she became very confident with all the weight she lost, and she would attribute that to the reason why she was as confident as she was. And she would do other things, like she would put me down, she would make me feel bad about myself, and then when I would react, she would tell me I was being too sensitive, I have no backbone, things that I know are not true. Like, I know I am sensitive, but I know how to joke. But her jokes were really cruel. You know, jokes that I would think to myself, like, I don't know, I don't think this is a joke a friend would say. And it was anything to kind of like make me look bad in front of a group of people. She'd humiliate me. I'd feel very embarrassed. I'd feel stupid. I'd feel upset, but I didn't want to show that, because then she'd find a way to twist that up and say, oh, see, you're just being sensitive. I was just playing with you. It's not that serious. She had certain trigger points that she would press, things that she knew bothered me. But the minute that I did one thing or said one thing to kind of match her, she'd chop me off right there. Like, she was not having it. From the things that I'm learning about narcissism, this is what narcissism is. Self-centered. Everything is about that individual. Everything revolves around them. Kind of like a person who's cocky, but it goes more beyond that. The person who's narcissistic is also a gaslighter. They're very good at manipulation. They're very good at making you feel like you're the problem, there's something wrong with you. And this is what this woman did. So I'm going to go a little bit into gaslighting. We'll be able to see how narcissism and gaslighting pretty much go together. To attempt to make someone believe that he or she is going insane, as by subjecting that person to a series of experiences with no rational explanation. So the signs of gaslighting: no longer feel like the same person that you used to be. You're more anxious, less confident than you used to be. You often question if you're being too sensitive. You feel like everything you do is wrong. You wonder if everything's your fault when things go wrong. Being isolated by friends and family, and finding decision-making hard because you lack self-trust and self-reliance. Habitual and pathological liars. They won't back down. Lying is their cornerstone, even when they're called out. Eventually, you begin second-guessing yourself. Number 2, they discredit you to others. Spread rumors, gossip, pretend to be worried and concerned, but then they go and they tell other people that you're crazy, you're unstable. Cause others to side with them. Number 3, deflect the topic at hand. They're very good at changing the subject when they're confronted with a question or when they're called out for something that they did, rather than responding at hand. Number 4, they minimize your thoughts and feelings. Trivializing your thoughts and feelings, gaslighters are able to gain power over you. They minimize your feelings and thoughts with statements like, calm down, you're overreacting. Why are you so sensitive? This leaves you feeling like you're wrong. You never feel validated or understood. The gaslighter fails to acknowledge your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and you'll begin questioning them for yourself. Number 5, they shift the blame to you. A very common tactic used by gaslighters is that when you're having a discussion, they somehow are able to twist to where you are to blame. So when you discuss a behavior that bothers you about them, or if you try to call them out on anything, they'll twist that conversation and they'll blame you. And they like to manipulate situations so where you begin to believe that you are actually at fault. Maybe I am just crazy. Maybe it really is me. And they will tell you, I wouldn't do this if you didn't do that. Well, if you behave differently, I wouldn't be mad all the time. Number 6. Deny any wrongdoing. Gaslighters avoid taking responsibility for their wrongdoings, leaving you feeling confused and frustrated. There is no acknowledgement of the pain that they've caused, making it hard for you to heal or to move on. Number 7. They use compassionate words as a weapon. They will use kind, loving words when they're called out or questioned, saying, "You know how much I love you. It's just tough love. I wouldn't hurt you on purpose. I didn't mean to really do that." They will tell you what you want to hear, but it's not authentic. And number 8, they twist and reframe conversations. So this is a tactic typically used when you bring something up from the past. Doesn't matter how recent or how long ago it was. The gaslighter, they might plot twist. When stories and memories are constantly retold in their favor, you begin doubting your version, thinking, okay, maybe I just don't remember that detail, or maybe I thought that I did that, but I didn't, or maybe I really did say it in this way, but I didn't realize how I was coming across. You'll kind of almost feel like you don't even remember it happening. You are starting to fall for their trap, for exactly what their goal is. Their mission is for you to think that you're going crazy just so they can have one up on you, just so that they can say that they're right and you're wrong. So now that we know what narcissistic personality disorder is and what gaslighting is, now it should be a lot easier for you to be able to do what we spoke about in the first video, which was establishing boundaries and having strict rules for when you do build a friendship. What ended up happening with me and my best friend was that I had enough. I just kind of stopped talking to her. I started to realize that this friendship really was no good, and I was holding on to it only because I had a lot of fun with her. I vibed really well with her. We would go out and it was so much fun, but she was a very, very toxic energy. She was a very toxic soul. She wasn't someone that brought anything good to my life. Anytime I hung out with her, there were problems, there was drama, there was trouble. She was just one of those. And it was affecting my relationship and my marriage. It was affecting my parenting. It was affecting me as a friend. It was just affecting me altogether. So I had to let that friendship go. She never acknowledged my pain. She never acknowledged what she did. She did try to befriend me. Kind of just was like, oh, let's let bygones be bygones. I miss you. But there was no, you know what, I'm sorry for the things I've said. I'm sorry for the way I acted. I'm sorry for all the times I humiliated you or put you down for no reason, just to bring myself up. There was none of that. What really was a tipping point for me in ending this friendship was when we were working together and we got laid off. She was like, so what are you gonna do now? And I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna take some time to build my YouTube channel that I just started, and I'm gonna start a blog, and I'm gonna start writing, and I don't know, see where it goes from there. I just want to get back into my writing. And the first thing she said was, oh, you're a dreamer. You're one of those. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's never going to happen for you. You need to go back to school and get a real job. Right there, I realized at that very moment, we're not going to be friends, because my friends need to, these are the rules I established that very day, be supportive. They need to be in the passenger side, not trying to take over the wheel. It's my car. I drive it. You're just in it riding with me because you are my supportive friend, just as I will be your supportive friend. I had established boundaries that were very strict, that would not allow anyone within my energy space who was no good to me, who was toxic, because I did not want that in my life. I want to draw in positivity into my life, and I can't do that if I'm hanging around negative people, because negative people will be negative with everyone, not just with you, not just with themselves, but negative, it just pours out of them. And as confident as she was walking into a room, she was just very, very negative. And she did have beautiful ways about her. She did have things I loved about her, which is why I held on to the friendship for so long. And I think that that is what makes it hard for us to be able to let go of friendships that are no good for us, is because we love the beauty and the potential, but we cannot spend our energy and time on this earth trying to make that other person see their beauty and potential, trying to get them to change who they are just because we know their potential. if they're not willing to see it for themselves, because then that ends up draining you. And I didn't want to be drained. I didn't want to be brought down anymore. And I saw how, like I said before, it was affecting my parenting, my marriage, and how I was as a friend to other people. I had to let the friendship go. And I learned a lot, because with that came the loneliness, which is a video I did recently, which I'll have posted at the end of this video. But I learned how to be alone to myself and have my quality time. And I learned how to use that to know like who Tina really is, away from the outside noise, away from the church, away from these toxic friendships. I learned how to really hear my own voice and the God in me, and how to be able to know what I want and who I am and what really makes me happy. So since then, I have made new friendships, but I'll admit I am not very loose with the word friend. I can know you for a pretty good amount of time, and calling you a friend, I have to see certain things. Like, we have to really connect in a certain way where you have to know deep details about me that I could trust you with, and you're there for me. Or if you make a mistake and you come back and you apologize and you're like, look, I didn't mean to do this, then I may just actually consider you a true friend at that point. But I'm not loose with the term friend, and I never say I need friends. And I would prefer quality over quantity any day. I don't need a lot of friends. And to be honest, I kind of like being by myself now. Like, I've become a little more introverted. I do love to be around people, but I enjoy being in my space where I can think and I can reflect and I can write and I can come up with all these ideas of the things I want to do in my life, and there's no one to bother me. So you have to find that time for yourself. But now that you know what narcissism is, you know what gaslighting is, and you know how to establish your own boundaries in a friendship, which I hope you guys are taking some sort of notes, use that as a way to help you to rebuild and to build new friendships, to build new social networks. Be very, very careful. Don't be afraid of having a small few. It's okay. You do not have to have a large bundle of friends. You can have like a few good ones. I have a couple of good ones that I could count on one hand, and I like it like that. I hope this video helps any of you. If it did, let me know down below in the comment section. Look in the description box where you will find everything, like how to get in touch with me and some links. Also, if you haven't yet, join my Beautiful Souls Facebook group, Recovery, for anyone who has just come out of a cult and just needs some people that they can relate with, that they could talk to. If you want to support this channel, then do subscribe. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you really want to support my channel as well in other ways, I accept PayPal and Cash App down below. Thank you guys. I love you all so much. I'll see you in the next video.